So I want to talk about a couple of Reddit posts today, and this right here is one of them. And it's mainly going to be just like issues in the game that I want to see fixed, and I have a couple of opinions on how to fix it as well. The first one comes from this right here. Why not nerf experience from trash and buff the experience from bosses to compensate, instead of the current boosting nerfs? I've been talking a lot about the anti-boosting mechanics that we have in Classic WoW recently, and how they are impacting real people and real gameplay, and honestly, I think it's having a really negative effect on real people. I want to clarify, I have not done any mage boosting since 2020. And the one time I was... actually, that's a lie. I boosted myself a little bit in 2024 on anniversary for probably a total of 10 dungeon runs. So I'm not a mage booster. I've never even sold mage boosting either. When I was doing mage boosting back in 2020, it was for my guildmates for free. So I'm just gonna come at this from the angle of not a mage booster. I'm not anybody who's trying to like financially benefit from these mechanics coming back into the game. I'm just saying they annoy me. The mechanics annoy me when I'm playing my characters while leveling, not even farming gold at max level, just literally leveling my characters. They annoy me, and Blizzard have recently tried to make boosting bannable as well or something, in which case, why do we have the mechanics to begin with? And also, anybody who played Season of Mastery, I believe that was where this mechanic was in place, right? Season of Mastery, where you basically cut all of the mob experience and you put it into the bosses. So instead of just a mages AoE pulling mobs, you now were incentivized to actually kill bosses in the dungeon, because that is where all the experience came from. It led to kind of funky gameplay, because now instead of like... yeah, instead of doing the dungeon normally, you were basically rushing to the bosses, skipping trash packs when you could, and it also was kind of weird to get 4 bars of experience from one boss only. But I believe that is much better than the current anti-boosting mechanics we have in the game at the moment. They are once again just... they are annoying. They annoy me while I'm leveling my characters, okay? I'm out here leveling, trying to have a time, and they annoy me. And I would rather them not be in the game and not annoy me, if that makes sense. So yeah, this right here, I think this is a good way to fix it, by the way, instead of trying to put in a lot of anti-boosting mechanics, because people have showed that Blizzard can put in anti-boosting mechanics, and guess what? People find workarounds. We live in 2026. People are actually pretty smart. So when Blizzard puts in an anti-boosting mechanics, guess what? People find a way around that mechanic and do the farm anyway. I mean, they've put in an anti-slow mechanic for mages in, for example, slave pens for TBC. Guess what? Mages have found a way to reset the anti-slow mechanic, making you able to do the exact same farm as before and slow them to infinity by resetting the anti-slow mechanic. Paladins have found a way to reset the anti-stun mechanic, and they can even farm through the anti-stun mechanic anyway as well. So yeah, it's just like the changes they've put in here are not having the intended effect, and they are annoying. One more problem that I currently have has to do with PvP. If you've been doing a bunch of PvP, perhaps if I take this away right now, your Nova instance tracker might look something like mine. To be fair, this looks pretty good, by the way. I don't know what happened here, but we've won 3 actually, to be fair, it's Alterac Valley. But look at Arathi Basins. Arathi Basin, Arathi Basin, Arathi Basin. Down here as well, like Arathi Basin, Arathi Basin. Every time I do Arathi Basin, we tend to lose a lot versus Alterac Valley. Alterac Valley seems to be more 50-50, but Arathi Basin and Warzone Gulch, it's like, unless you have a pre-made, it's so over. It sucks. And something I would want to see in TBC, for example, is maybe this not continuing, so you don't have this pre-made meta we currently have. How about this? Pre-made versus Pug is the lamest shit ever. Complete waste of time for the losing team and 0 fun for the winning team. PvE Andy's jumping for joy, I bet. Fix pre-made versus pre-made and Pug versus Pug. If this makes no sense to you, let me make it really, really easy to understand. If you're queuing as a group, you can only be put into other groups. So it's basically group versus group and solo player versus solo player. Because right now, the people that are doing pre-mades, they are not doing pre-mades to actually PvP. They're doing pre-mades to stomp on pugs. So they're basically making a pre-made with the sole intention of owning people that queue up solo. And what happens is that if you have a good pre-made versus a good pre-made, you clash in the middle, and whoever wins the fight wins the battleground. Whoever loses the fight goes AFK, stands still, and loses fast, because the intention of the pre-made is never to actually do PvP, it is to pub stomp. You stomp on the noobs, you wreck them, you get 100 kills to 0. It is never the intention to have an actually good battleground, it is just to own people, in which case nobody has fun, and the only people that benefit are the people that are abusing this system to their advantage, right? It turns PvP into not PvP, and I hate that. Give me group queue and single player queue in Battlegrounds. That way I can queue up as a single player and actually have fun. How about that? I can actually play a video game to have fun. That would be lovely. That would be so unheard of in 2026. Playing a video game and having fun doing it. And otherwise, this right here is what you might end up with, by the way. Let me just make sure that everything here is showing. Yeah, it's showing really well. Loss. This guy lost and did Rothy Basins. He won 1 at 12:04 AM. If I scroll down a bit here, he might have done more than this, but he started at 4:44. So this is effectively 8 hours of consecutive Rothy Basins before you finally win 1. Tell me this is fun, and if anybody here conjures the argument of just make a pre-made or just join a pre-made, you are part of the problem, you don't understand the problem, and I don't want to hear your quote-unquote solution to the problem, because your solution to the problem is making the problem even more of a problem. Shut up. This is so bad. I want these two things fixed. This right here, this is more of a problem at the moment in the pre-patch, obviously, when everybody's trying to get gear, get their rank 14 gear for TBC, pre-farm some marks for TBC, but it's going to be a problem in TBC as well. And the same thing goes for the anti-boosting mechanics, also going to be a problem in TBC itself, both while leveling and at max level. I don't know, like this right here, this right here is Blizzard trying to fix something and doing it in a bad way. And they should have done this instead. The anti-boost mechanics is a bad fix. It's like a flex tape fix. It doesn't work. Or it might, but not forever. This right here would have been a much better fix if you ask me. And this right here is the result of Blizzard not doing anything about the pre-made versus pugs. Fix PvP. Make PvP actually PvP and actually fun. I don't know, let me know what you think.